Hello, 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 YouTube! Woohoo! It's ZiggyNo. I am here live. I'm at my local Starbucks between Target and Walmart. You gotta try it, right? If you don't try it, you can't. Like, if you don't play the game, you can't complain about not winning. So, of course, I chased retail. Of course, I found nothing. Let me get some light in here. Super excited. I'm trying to be warm. That might not work too well. Anyway, trying to be warm, comfortable, really excited to talk to everybody. I got an agenda. I'm hoping to maybe get some live comments, some questions. First thing I'll just say, I apologize for being late, right? I'm late for my own live. Now, why'd that happen? Well, a lot of things. One of them was Top Shot took forever to drop, and it didn't complete, and I didn't get anything. So that took me some time before I could do things. Secondly, I am having a challenges figuring out the studio live thing. So I don't know if this is working. I posted that I'm going live, and I think I just went live, and I don't know if I did the live thing correctly. But I think I see people. If anybody's out there and you can chat, love to just give me a thumbs up. You're out there. So listen, here's my goal. I got a little quick agenda. My goal, I will say, is to do this show on a weekly basis. I haven't set the time yet. I think it's Saturday. It could be Sunday. The thing is, I'm a dad. All right, thanks, man. Appreciate that. I'm a dad, and my kids' weekends are flexible. So my goal is to get a live show out every weekend and continue with Sports Cards Daily every day. So what am I going to cover today? Well, there's been so much going on, right? There's so many things going on. And listen to so many channels, listen to so many content providers and people in the hobby. I want to give my opinion on a few things. Hga, PSA grading. I'm going to give you my thoughts on that. Second thing, Prism basketball, $3,000 a hobby box. I'm going to give you my thoughts on that. Top Shots. Going to give you some thoughts on that. I'm also going to mention Dibs and Alt to you. I'm going to mention them because I'm using them, trying to use them. And I think it's an important thing to mention real quickly too. As a content provider, guys, I use the stuff I'm talking about. If I'm not using it, I'm going to get you information from people who directly are using it. I know a lot of content providers talk about stuff, but they don't use it, which I find that kind of challenging. Like, a guy will be talking about something. I'm like, are you using it? He's like, no, I haven't used it yet. I haven't signed up. I'm like, wow, I'm just surprised. So I know this is kind of dark. God, that darkness is killing me. So I can show light. Is that better light? A little bit better. So my point is, I'm going to try to share what I'm using, why I'm using it, what my feedback is. My feedback also, since I'm not, paid for play, everything I'm doing here is, for fun. I'm going to share with you my honest opinions of stuff. So I'm going to talk about, again, Top Shot, Dibs, and Alt today. I'm also going to give you an update on Star Stock, what I've heard, what's going on, how I'm using it. I know people have been kind of quiet about it, and I'm going to kind of give you my thoughts on it. And I'll tie that in as well. And then lastly, I'm going to talk a little bit about just the importance, I think, of your reputation in the hobby and why I take my reputation very seriously. And I really appreciate everybody who's reached out to me over the last few months. Just great people in the hobby. And I won't go into details, but you know who you are. And I just want to say the hobby is a warm community. I had a few months off. I wasn't able to do a lot of stuff in the hobby. I'm back. I'm excited. So those friends mean a lot to me. And I hope to be a friend to a lot of you people out there too. If you're going through something, shoot me a message. Happy to chit chat. So let's start with Hga and PSA. Okay, my first thought on this. The Hga, when it first was announced, I was one of those people like, no way this is going to work. No way this is going to work. People are going to laugh at this. And the reason I thought that was I really thought there was this whole real requirement of, some gray-bearded wizard in some high tower had to look at the card to deem it a grade. And I thought that was important. I thought that's why SGC made a push last year, right? Because they had these wizards in the tower. And remember, BGS had wizards that left and went to SGC. So I thought wizards were important in grading. What HGA has proved to me, now let me make this, I want to make a hypothesis. It's proved to me that wizards aren't important. Now, I could be completely wrong on that. Wizards might be absolutely very important, okay? Wizards might be the key to this. But what I mean by that is HGA basically came along and said, look, technology is equal to or better than or almost as good as wizards, so go this way. And I'll follow me up on that in a minute. If I'm wrong, and I'll go back to this other thing, what I've realized too in the last 18, 24 months in the hobby is everything in the hobby is hot for 6 months, okay? Everything's hot for 6 months. How it is after the 7th and 8th month is really the question, but everything's hot for 6 months. So that being said, let me go back to HGA. What I like about HGA and what I've been positive about is what they're doing is they're scanning a card several times, right? And I've seen this done in a lot of other technologies. I have a software background where you're basically looking at something over and over and over, and you make so many variations. You go, we've looked at 1 million of these, and we determined that of 1 million, 99.9% have this. right? Or they have that. So when you're able to determine that this isn't that, you create an algorithm, and you can apply that algorithm to scanning other things. And the algorithm gets smarter the more it scans, right? And that's what HGA is doing. Right? That's what they've claimed. That's 100% virtual technology, 100% graded, technology grading. Now, they also added that some of the interviews, we talked to the gentleman who started this, they do have somebody that eyeballs the cases and is supposed to make sure there's a sanity check that, hey, a 10 going out isn't slided crooked, or the card's not cornered, or there's some sanity quality check. And you also get a sense from the interviews that two things are important: customer service and providing you a quality graded card. He's not telling you he's providing you a guarantee this is a PSA 10, and really he shouldn't have to. He's not making PSA 10s. He's making HGAs, right? Which I love. What amazes me is people adopted this. We accepted this. I was curious if the market would accept this. Would we buy this? Would we buy? And of course we did. Now I think a few things are at play here. Number one, this is a limited drop, right? There's only so many around. So I look at what goes on in what's that? Supreme. Supreme goes on limitations, right? This is leveraging limitations. So there's only so many HGH slabs you can get. They're going to be almost as or good as wizard grading, I'll call it. And you get it done pretty quickly, and if not, you get your money back. Well, that's a challenge too, man. Let me just say, Mr. HGA, amazing marketing, great marketing. Now, you've got something going that's very hot. Now, I think what happens next is very, very key, guys. What happens next is key. And what I mean by that is, what does HGA do next, and what do the others do? I was listening to Because I'm Carlos talking about SGC today, and I heard from another friend of mine how SGC has got rid of their backlog, that SGC is actually on time. If you want to grade SGC, great time to do it. They'll grade it. They've raised their price in the last year or so, but they're there. And I thought to myself, what does that mean? Will there be a run on HGA? I don't know. SGC. I'm thinking to myself, I don't wonder why the executives in these rooms don't think a little bit outside the box, or a little more reactive what competition's doing. For example, if I'm SGC, I go buy an HGA, or I provide a HGA-like option. Right? They've got the name and the quality. If anybody, they can come out and say, hey, our algorithm takes our 25 years of experience into consideration, right? HGA made his algorithm yesterday, right? Differentiate yourself. BGS could do this. PSA, any one of them could do this. And my point to this real quickly, if you're following along, is HGA is easy to copy what they're doing, okay? They've just basically said that, hey, you know what? You've been buying your pizzas from New York City, saying the pizzas in New York City are the best. I'm making a pizza here in Brooklyn, or I'm making a pizza here in Queens. I'm making a pizza here, across the bay. And what we realize is, hey, anyone can make pizzas. Anyone can grade. Okay, now will this take on? Now, two things could happen. We could see a bunch of graders go up, which could dilute the value of this, and then we get this whole battle of just a bunch of more GMAs and everything. In fact, you've seen GMA change things about their slab and their grading. What's interesting to me is if we look at this market, there is a market of how much grading dollars are there. Okay, there's only so much as somebody can take. We also have to think. I will tell you, in my opinion, is that market growing or will it shrink? That's another thing to really think about. I think it will shrink, and I'll get into a little bit later on. But I know the market's anticipating it to continue to grow and to continue to grow at this exponential growth. So let me come back to this. My point on HGA, I am not using them just because I'm too impatient to get in line, but I would like to. Here's what I'd like to see them do. Maybe they should strike a deal with StarTalk or ComC or somebody else where they allot, 1,000 allotments to those guys, and they can I think they need to quickly expand their scalability, and they need to maintain that customer service at the same time. So maybe they get partnership franchises where people put skin in the game, but they need to scale quickly. Right? PSA, I think, has put themselves in an interesting pinch. I wonder how much PSA took into consideration their price increase with what HGA is doing in the market. Because part of me thinks there's an elitistness of a PSA, like, hey, that's fine. So the peasants can have SGA or HGA, but for the the rich, they'll have PSA. I don't know. It also, again, if PSA got to have on the board, buy HGA. Find out how much the guy wants for his company. We can buy the whole damn thing. I mean, they spent $1 billion right now buying PSA. You think they couldn't buy the guy at HGA for, I don't know, $10 million? You think he wouldn't take $10 million for an idea he just created? Now, again, I go back to how do you patent this and protect it from being copied? Right? What's the IP? Look for that. Somebody on the legal side, think about that. But man, exciting things happen. Now, let me just go back, dovetail this. PSA raising their prices has made me go thinking about what I'm doing in grading. Okay, now first of all, I'll tell you, I have a bunch of cards I've submitted to a friend. And I'll also say that I spoke to StarStock, and I'll mention this in my StarStock update. As of yesterday, they were still accepting PSA cards at $30 per card. Now, the guy said he's not going to guarantee you 20 days, 25 days, because their current stuff still is behind. But even if you got in at $30, that's cheaper than their $50, which is the only offering in the public that I've seen. So if you are a StarStock member, you might look at using StarStock to get your PSA submissions in. You also need to take consideration that, maybe they don't honor that $30. PSA comes back and says, no, we want 50, or, it could be a year before you get the card back. So this whole PSA thing, right? I know it's going to make everybody think about how they grade. Now, a few things are, if you've got money, what this means is if you're first to market, you've got more value in being first to market, right? So what I mean by that, there are a lot of guys out there who go buy the first box of Prism, the first case of Prism at a premium. They'll rip the entire thing and they'll get the cards graded and on market first and fast. And they make a premium doing that. They know that, right? That's not going to stop today, okay? Because those guys are using Express already. They're calculating in those expensive costs, and they're going to get that back on their return. Who is going to get hurt is the second wave. The guys who didn't grade that way, who graded slowly, and what's going to happen to them when those cards come back? They're not going to have that first-to-market approach. Now, my thoughts are, again, if we look at, say, Prism Basketball 21, I'm going to assume 3 years from now, the pop count of PSA graded 21s will be lower than PSA 20s, 19s and 18s. And again, because there will have been that grandfathered in backlog of those previous Prism cards, right? Does that make sense to everybody? So that is something we need to take and consider economically. And we need to be wise about this. So what I predict is that in the future here, you're going to see people, with LaMelo Ball, hey, PSA 10, pop 1, only 100 graded, only 500 graded compared to Zion. Well, of course, the pop counts will be lower. And of course, they're going to be compared to much lower to Zions and Lucas because that's before the grading boom was stopped by PSA. Now, PSA didn't do this by accident, okay? There's a reason why they did this. And I also want to say, look, I find it funny that when this happened, everybody was all excited, right? Oh, this is great for the hobby. A collector bought it. And I was skeptical, like, did a collector buy it or did the evil wizard buy this? And again, I'm not calling Nate or the investors or anybody they're evil, but look, man, what they've basically done is they've now monopolized exclusivity to the biggest and most pristine name in the hobby, which gives you multipliers on what's already going on in the hobby. Now, again, let that bake in for a minute. What I mean by that is now, if you're in the PSA club and you can afford PSA, well, you have exclusivity to being able to get PSA 10s that are going to definitely, continue to dominate at higher volumes and higher value because the pop counts will be lower as well. I'm curious as if PSA is considering a 9.5 and doing a 9.5. Personally, I kind of would like to see them do it. At the same time, as a business person, they shouldn't do it. They should not offer a 9. I would like to see them or discuss or address the rumors of PSA quotas. Like, can you only give so many 10s in a day as a grader? Are there only so many 10 Lucas that are going to be given out? Do they throttle back? Hey, we got too many 10s out there. Start giving 9s because it does seem like if you get those grades in early, you're easier to get a 10, and then all of a sudden the graders change and everything comes back 9s. Well, I'm just lecturing. So again, I hope you guys are enjoying this. We're about 13 minutes in. Let me just kind of wrap up the PSA SGA. So takeaway. Watch HGA. Interested? Would do it if I could. Not going to run away from it. Not in a rush. Right now, my personal life, I have nothing I'm trying to look to grade anyway. I'm waiting for stuff to come back. And I'm not buying much because everything I like is too expensive or just not the right product for me right now. So I haven't felt the personal pressure to make an impact there. I also want to just comment. I'm curious if anyone wonders, is the intellectual property that HGA is using, is that patentable? And what would make it special? And what I mean by that is, look, if you're out there and you've got the money, I think you should open another grading company. Give me a call, message me. I've got some ideas on what you could do to differentiate yourself. I'd be interested in getting involved. I think there's room because anyone can grade. Okay, next one. Prism $3,000 box. Now, I'm not going to spend too much time on this, okay? But I saw this last night, and I'm not surprised. And I kind of say to myself, I don't know what to do. I will tell you that my boys are not as into basketball and sports cards as they used to be. In fact, one of my sons is really he's disgusted with it because of everything that's going on. And I think he's listened to too much YouTube and people saying that. Let me take a quick note on that too. Why sports cards are important to kids. Let me come back to that in a minute. But let me close the Prism loop. I'm disgusted, but we did this, right? We have continued to pay these ridiculous prices for these boxes. I don't think that's going to change. I don't know when it's going to change. It eventually has to change. I'm curious if other markets have had crashes like this, and when they crash, when does the channel get so fat with distribution that they collapse? Anybody have some ideas? And what I mean by that, look, we should have said BS on hoops when it came out at several $100s a box. We should have said BS when Donruss came out at $1,000 a box. We should have said BS when we saw football coming out at over $1,000 for a Prism box. But we didn't. We bought it. We've marked it up more. We continue to pay for it. Now, I do think the grading is going to have an impact on it, because now when I open up a hobby box, I used to be able to open up and go, yeah, I can grade several of the base cards for a couple $100 and I'll make $1,000 back. Well, now I gotta look at this and go, well, will I make money on the base cards anymore? Is that opportunity there? So that, I think, the bad timing, or maybe it's perfect timing, right? Maybe this is negative, holding the storm back. The dropping of the prices being that high. Like, for example, if I bought a Prism box, you get 144 cards. I think you get, say, 12 to 20 rookies. How many of those would you grade? Well, last year, I tell you could grade 10 of them at least, right? Maybe 20 of them. Maybe you grade them all. This year, I'd say you can only grade 4 or 5, right? You have to be more selective. You maybe have to wait longer. So that, again, really concerns me, and I think that's going to have an impact. I also think Prism retail is going to be a nightmare. There's going to be fights over it, right? A blaster box is going to go for a couple $100 for a $20 box. I have to come up with a strategy because it's going to be dropping soon, and as you can see, I'm not finding retail right now. I do like the fact that some stores are putting limits and have these virtual queues. I think they should continue to do that. Let me also give you another piece of insight. I know I'm lecturing long here, but I like this live. In my personal experience, I admin several Facebook groups, and I look at a lot of different posts coming in. One of the groups I'm in, a lot of it just people reselling and flipping wax, right? I'm not going to lie to you. It makes me sometimes sick watching it, but hey, I'm in the group. And it also, what it gives me, why I do it too, it gives me great visibility in what's going on in the hobby. So this morning, for example, I approved 50 posts. 40 of those were optic football, okay? I'd say probably there's 5 or 10 of them which were other old products that some people are holding that they've kind of changed their pricing on. Why that's important? Number one, I know when a product's hot right now, when it's out in retail. So optic football's hot right now. It's out in retail. Number two, I know there's a lot of it. And number three, I see that if it sits too long, people start dropping their prices and more money to buy new stuff, right? Because I get better premium on the new stuff. So those are some interesting insights I just want to give you on what I'm seeing in the retail. Damn, there we go. Oh, we got some network connectivity issues too. Hopefully we're able to make it through this. Okay. So my closing comments on Prism. Look, we've done this to ourselves. I'm not a fan of Prism. I'm not a fan of the exclusive licenses. I'm not going to go into that in this live. I don't want to spend my time lecturing about why I don't like monopoly that Panini has. But I will say again, Panini is the worst vendor in the hobby. As I'm wearing their hat, they are the worst because they don't do anything about it, right? They're not doing anything to change. I dropped a video yesterday, or maybe it was this morning, talking about how, you know, the one thing Top Shot is doing that I have to applaud is they found a distribution system to fairly get out a product to some people online. Now, is it 100% accurate? No, I'm sure there's workarounds, but man, it is one of the best systems I've seen. I felt fairly treated, and I didn't get anything either, by the way. I missed out on the Top Shot today, but I felt good about it. So I really, really, really applaud, you know, Topps for doing the print on demand. I applaud Top Shot for doing the queues, and I shame Panini for being so lazy that their answer to doing online commerce is, we'll just charge you as much as we can, as much as you'll tolerate. This is why I call it a Dutch oven, because basically they hold your head under the blanket and go, what price do you like? And they fart. And you sit there going, oh my God, what price am I willing to pay? And you have to hold your breath until you just like, okay, I'm going to pay that much money. Oh. It's a Dutch oven baking system. I can't stand it. Anyway, hope I made enough sense of that. Let me go into Top Shot, dibs, and all. So, Top Shot. I am going to try Top Shot. First of all, if I'm going to talk about it, I think I should try it, right? I believe that. So I say the same thing to people out there. If you're going to talk about something, probably should try it, right? Just don't talk about, you know, a tool if you never tried it. I've tried it. Okay. Top Shot. I dig it. I still look at this, and I can put this to my son and other people. And let me shout out to Sports Card Investigator. He did a great video on this because I can relate to him. He had conversations about this. Everybody I showed you, it looks and goes, this is absolutely stupid. Like, you're making money on that? I'm like, I don't even want to bring it up. Okay, I'm not here to talk about, is Top Shot the revolution? I don't know. You know, man, I'm sure some people thought Windows was stupid, right? What I am going to say is that I, again, applaud the mechanism. I like what they're trying to do. I think it's cool. They share the print run. They show you how many they have. They seem to be upfront and honest. They show you how much money they're making because they show you the pack price, and you can multiply that by how many are going out there. So again, it's we, the market, that drive up these insane prices. I don't know why you pay thousands of dollars for a clip. I don't know why you would pay just a few dollars more or some, more manageable price. I do think there's a value there, if that makes sense. But again, I'm not here for that. I'm here to say that I'm going to try it. I'm finding it interesting. I do recommend people check it out too. It's still an early on solution. I do feel like it is a musical chair, and I do think at some point somebody not sitting down, right? That you got to be careful. Like I would not put more money in than I am taking out if I could. Like if I put $100 in and I have an opportunity to make $2,000, I'm taking the $2,000 out, and then I'm playing with house money. That's the type of thing I would do here. If I put $200 in and I don't make any money, I'm probably going to go, hey, I had a $200 learning experience, right? That's my Top Shot recommendation. And I'd love your feedback as well. Again, I do appreciate those people who have been sharing. I'll say this, if I ever get a pack, I'm probably going to hold the pack. I probably wouldn't even open it. I know it sounds crazy, but I'm probably going to hold the pack. I'm getting old. Why not hold it? Okay, Dibs. Dibs was announced last week by Sports Card Investor, big fan and friend, Jeff. I love Jeff, love his show, love his channel, so I want to let that know. I use market movers. I don't sell it. I'm not endorsed. I don't work for them. I heard about Dibs earlier, though. Jeff mentioned to them. Here's my thought on it. I think it's clever. Like to Dibs, to me, I look at it and go, yeah, makes sense. Yeah, makes sense. What I mean by that is I'm getting their whole thing is they're doing fractional with an actual card that you can own that's tied to this blockchain. Now, after I spend some more time looking at it, two things come to my mind. Why? Like the only difference between this and fractional is they've added blockchain. Why'd you add blockchain? Is something wrong with fractional that I need blockchain to do it? Like I don't understand why. I think because the blockchain allows you to sell smaller fractions and do faster transactions, that might be the answer. But is that the only reason? Because I don't understand why. Okay. Second thing, when I think about this, is they're still tied to a physical asset. I think that's a bad thing. I think that's a mistake. and Top Shot is the reason why I say that. And they're probably gonna say, "Hey, Top Shot's the reason why you shouldn't say that." Top Shot's not tied to a physical. It's tied to some blockchain, kind of like Bitcoin is, right? Some unknown but quantifiable mathematical tangible thing, right? But it's not tied to a physical thing in our world. Why is that a value? That's why Bitcoin could go as high as it wanted to, because there really was no physical Bitcoin. It's just that is Bitcoin. Just like in Top Shot, a Top Shot LeBron James can go for $1 billion because there's no physical one of them like it. In the fractional, you're not going to see a Luka go for $100 million if there's physical ones that are available that you get for less. Does that make sense? Okay. And you say, well, what if they put a 1 of 1 in a fractional? They can do that, but the fact that there's a 1 of 1 or equivalence to it, right? Maybe other rookie years, other cards, whatever it might be. Maybe it's not LeBron's rookie year, but maybe it's Wayne's. You'll have physical ones that you're going to use to ground that value. Does that make sense? So grounding that value is, I think, a huge issue when you do the Dibs, the fractional and blockchain. And to add to that, to support this argument, look at Panini blockchain, right? In my opinion, I don't understand it. I think it's been a fail. I don't know if anybody's using it. Maybe it's successful, but it doesn't seem their markets do very well. Their auctions aren't selling very crazily. It's not the hype. But what have they done? They're tying a physical card to a blockchain. Now, they do it sometimes, and sometimes they don't. And I think that in itself has also made it more confusing, and they've diluted that market space and ruined it. So let me give you take a summary step. I think Dibs is cool. I think fractional ownership is cool. It's kind of cool to own a part of a cool card. I like that. I'm into that. Right? I did that. It's fine. But they're all going to be capped and held to their physical value. So if those physical cards all of a sudden drop in value, those will as well. And you'll be tied up in fees and transactions to get out of them. If they go up, right, they're going to go up, but you're still going to have fees and transactions. You might be able to get out a little faster, but I don't know if that's as good of a positive. Really quick note, on Dibs, I noticed it's a $15 withdrawal fee. I'm only saying that because you're not going to see that until after you put money into it, but you put money in, and it tells you at the end. That's another good question. Why is Panini, Dunk, and Huddle not worth more? I don't know either, because why is Top Shot worth it? I don't understand that. Because again, I think when I look at dunks and stuff, I look at them and go, they're funny, they're cute. I'm not going to waste my money on that. Kind of like, I guess, here's an interesting thought, Mike. Kind of like Fortnite. I don't look at Fortnite as having value, but apparently there is value in Fortnite, right? Fortnite skins have value. Fortnite accounts have value. So there is some virtual value. Now, that value, if it's not tied to something that's tangible in the real world, I think it has a greater potential to have greater exponential growth, if that makes sense. Okay, so dibs, $15 withdrawal fee. Keep that in mind. I didn't know that, so after I put money in, I put $100 in dibs, and then I thought to myself, well, now it's going to cost me 15% to withdraw this money. So I have to make at least $15 before I even pull back the $100 I put into it. So that was kind of interesting. And so far, it seems interesting, neat. I'm not, nothing about it. They did drops this week. The drops went very fast. I tried to get in a loop and I couldn't. I don't know if it was my internet access. I got a couple other pieces of other cards. Again, early impressions, it just reminds me of fractional. So I'm not super sold on it. I'm going to watch it and see. I like what Dibs is trying to do, though, with the blockchain and the card. I think that's neat. But again, I'm going to ask why. What's the blockchain giving me that fractional doesn't have? Because is fractional not good? It is as good, right? I don't know. Alt. Okay, got signed up for Alt this week. I don't really have anything to show you right now. I got their information. I signed up the account. I'll be honest, it was kind of boring. I logged in, and it just says a place you can send them your cards to put in the vault, or you can track cards that are not in the vault. So it seems to me it's an inventory tracking system, which is cool. I'm not really big on inventory tracking, but it does give you the ability to track inventory. I don't understand the vaulting fees. There's no reason why I would send my cards to these guys to vault. I don't. You're gonna have to. Like, I even looked at when I was thinking of vault. I'm thinking, why? Why are you want me to sign up? What are you going to give me? Do I get a free, gift card or something like that? Everybody else is giving me a code. I got $25 at Sports Card Investor. I'm not Sports Card Investor. At StarStock through Sports Card Investor. There's promo codes. What is Alt giving me? I just don't get that yet. Maybe it's early. We'll see. Maybe it's for very rich people who want to be able to show their vault account. I don't know. I'll be honest. I would use StarStock to vault. Just put your cards in StarStock, and they'll send you a picture of your cards if you want. Not actually your cards, but just pictures of cards that look like yours, to be fair. Okay, I'm going 30 minutes in. I'm going to keep chatting, and I see some questions, and I apologize. I'm trying to multitask. Okay, StarStock. Now, like I said, I've been kind of out of it for 2 months, and things have been kind of quiet on the StarStock front. Now, I'll also say during those 2 months, I submitted a bunch of cards to them, and I've done some PSA submissions through them. Overall, processing's been slow, right? They're definitely getting their butt kicked. Fast Pass doesn't work, right? And they're like months, weeks behind on that. Shipping back, they're weeks behind on that too. I'm waiting for something that shipped to me weeks at best. I will say they're honest and they're open and they talk about it. I've never had an issue with them not responding to an email in a relatively timely frame. They're just overwhelmed. And this is why I'll say that if you have any idea in sports cards at all, it will work for 6 months at least. It's how you're able to scale and manage that moving forward, I think, is key. And you should call me about that because I think I can help you. My point is, I don't think StarStock's dead. I don't think it's the end of StarStock. I think they've got a great platform, great solution. I think they're going to do wonderful moving in. They're going through some massive growing pains. Okay, I think they need to focus on what they do best. I don't think they should have opened the window as much into all the cards that they're accepting. They never ever should have allowed draft cards in the product at all. They should have always kept it to professional, right, and to rookie cards, and never let inserts. And that's a learning thing they've had. I also don't think they ever should have done sealed wax. I like the idea in theory. It's like, oh, that's kind of cool. But even when I looked at it, I realized you can put it in there, but you're honestly never going to pull the wax down because it costs a lot. It takes a lot of time to get it, right? So if I was going to do break and I bought some wax from StarStock, it's not going to be for 6 weeks. The price is going to change. The world changes. That's not going to work, right? So the product, the putting sealed product there was a mistake. Also, just personally, for me, it just gives me an outlook for if I have sealed, retail that I don't want to sell or get rid of, I can just send it to them to sell, right? It's easy, which has made it easy for flippers, right? If there's a lot of flippers I mentioned who really, here's another thing, there's a lot of retail being made. And you see an eBay post about, hey, someone spent $150 for a blaster. Well, somebody did, but not a million people did that, right? You see what I'm saying? That's the tip of the iceberg. That's the push of the front, not the norm. So there's a lot of this stuff sitting on the market where everybody's going, well, mine should be worth $160 too. No, only one person said it's worth $160. There's a lot of guys that it's worth $155 or $150. You see what I'm saying? There's a fallback. So StarStock has basically provided this dumping place where flippers can just dump their sealed wax. And that, I think, is going to be a problem. The PSA, I think, is interesting to me. I think they did very well in the PSA grades they got back. Some people are criticizing them. Oh, they got paid a lot for an A. But you paid a lot for an A. No one told you to pay a lot for an A. I still look at paying for an A as that they pre-screened your card. What was your raw worth? A raw PSA StarStock should have a little premium over a raw. It should, because it should be someone reviewed it. It's not telling you it's a PSA 9 or 10 or 8. If anything, you want to put a value, give it a PSA 8. right? But StarStock didn't do that. StarStock didn't tell you PSA 8, not A's are worth $100 and they're all going to become PSA 10s. I had 4 cards come back to them. All of them came back 9s. I have another probably 20 cards out to them submitted. We'll see how those come back. I didn't get a bunch in. And I try to be selective of what the cards I did grade. And I suspect now with the grading things, it'll probably be months before I get those cards. But I am excited to get those cards when they come back. And I agree with Jason here. He talked about the inconsistency of A's and B's. And I agree. I said this in the beginning. In fact, one of my first concerns I saw about this is the way I look at it is that they're taking in the buckets, A, B, and C. This is an A, this is a B, and they fill the buckets. But in the bucket itself, all these A's aren't the same, all these B's aren't the same, and all these C's aren't the same. You see what I'm saying? Right? So that when you call me and say, I want to get an A, I'm going to pull out an A. But you want me to ship it to you, hey, I'll pull the one from the bottom. You want me to grade it from you, I should pull it from the top, right? Same thing with the B's. You're right, the inconsistency. Now, this could be resolved if they actually use pictures of the cards that they were scanning. Now, that would take a major investment. In order to do that, too, you got to take a step back. You can't be doing every card in the world, right? So my thoughts are, I think StarStock should focus on what you do well. Focus on those rookie cards. Focus on grading. I think you should also reach out to HGA right now and see if you can't get allotment of 500 or 1,000 HGA cards every week that you can get onto your marketplace and you get graded through HGA. Think about that, right? You had the PSA thing. PSA's raising more prices. Keep the PSA, but add HGA right away. Hey, if SGC wants to do it, you don't have a backlog, SGC, offer your business as well. You should be partnering with StarStock. StarStock, your value prop could be being able to take those cards, have been pre-scanned rookie cards, and now that grading is going to be more expensive to us, give us grading options. Hey, if I have StarStock, I can go SGC, I can go HGA, I can go PSA, or I can sell it as a StarStock A or B. Give me those options and focus on what you're doing and keep doing that well. Don't listen to all the hype about chasing all the other products. Don't do that, okay? And continue the good customer service. Last comment I'll make about them, like one of the things I asked about them was reporting for taxes and so like that, what they're going to do. They sent me the best report I've ever seen in my life. I can't share it with you because it's got all my financial information in it, but I've gotten reports from CompC and for eBay. This is the best report I've ever seen. And I don't tell everybody to run out and get it and ask them and bother them for it. But if you need it, they have it. I will. Let me pause. What it makes me realize, and StarStock, if you're listening, it makes me realize you guys want to kill us with you want to exceed our expectations, and I love you for doing that. But you need to manage that too. Like, come back and focus on the website. Make the website itself a little bit better for me. I like you added the alerting, but I want more ability to search. I want more ability, and maybe talk to some other customers using the product. Make the product better that you have now. It needs to scale better. I think you and I both know the platform you're using is not going to scale. If you look at where COMC is, okay, and millions of cards, okay, you will eventually be there. I know you're not going to be all the cards they have, but eventually as this market grows, 5 years, 10 years from now, you're going to have all the rookie cards. You need to think about how you get to that path. And right now, I think your customer service and the ability to let collectors, buyers, investors take cards and quickly get them to market and grading is your go-to-market strategy. Okay, so I've killed it with that. Let me go on. I'm going to close this up. We're coming up on the 33, and then we'll look through some of the questions in the chat. I really appreciate those people who have been listening. I'm going to try to do like a StarStock does and maybe make a submission for questions that can come in, and that way I can answer the questions on a week-to-week. Me going to the chat, it's just, I'll be honest, I'm terrible at that. I'm just, first of all, I'm blind. I'm old. Second of all, I'm just not very good at that. Okay. Last thing I'm going to say, a lot of times I'm watching, like I said, I love a lot of this channel. There's so much good content out there. There's a rise right now of all the hoops, Top Shot content writer. I want more people, I think I've always been a stickler about disclosing your involvement, your engagement. One thing I've noticed is that it seems like everybody tells you how positive things are in the hobby, all have a vested interest in why they're telling you that, right? All of them. And I'm not a naysayer. I'm not here to be doomsayer saying, hey, it's the end of the world, but let's not be foolish. Some of the, and let me also, before I go any further, before I make my statements of logic, let me say something that a friend of mine said. Remember, the best businessmen are Ferengi, not Vulcan. And the reason for that is Vulcans are logical. Well, logically, this costs this and that is X and the supply is this and this is that. You should buy it, right? But that's not how business is. The Ferengi will tell you that it's emotion is why people buy and sell. So that being said, logically, we know that there's more and more retail. There's mega boxes of every product. Every product's coming out with multiple waves. It's not like it's only there 1 week. And you'll see like a few months from now, another wave of like optical come out. There's more product. In my opinion, we are in the overprinting decade again, right? The only difference is I think it's a bigger market, right? It's a bigger global market, bigger appetite. There's more money to spend. It's a bigger monster to feed. And I'm not even saying it's a bad thing. I think it's cyclical, right? In fact, these older, wiser people tell you, oh, this is part of the hobby. It goes up and down. My only comment is that just beware. It's a fun time. Like I said, anything coming in, I think for the first 6 months, it seems like you can make money. And I'm not telling you to go out and buy everything for the first 6 months. Like I haven't even touched tops 70 yet. I haven't looked at that. But it seems like that. So just beware, but also realize at some point somebody's going to be losing some money. Gary V made a comment about that. I tweeted that a few days ago about the Top Shot. And I don't think he was trying to rain on the parade, but I think he was very, very reasonable. Maybe it's also the generational thing, right? As graybeard, see this? I love crypto. My career actually started in crypto. But why I would pay money for something that could simply easily be counterfeited as well. Now you're like, well, how do you counterfeit that? Well, how do you determine it's not a counterfeit? Okay, so in the video, I show you the video of Top Shot. Wow, that's beautiful, and it's got a 1 of 100, whatever the hell. It's got a crypto lock on it. Wonderful. How do you prove that? How does the layman, the average human being in the marketplace, determine that? Because the next snake salesman comes up and goes, "Hey, I've got one too. It's got blah 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 blah. You want to buy it?" There's no way to determine that. And the reason I say that is that there's just a lot of people going to be taking advantage of the market, right? I think that's a big takeaway. The more money you see coming in, whether it's PSA or whether it's grading, someone's going to somebody will, here's what's going to happen. Someone's going to make fake HGA slabs. Someone's also going to send HGA a fake card, right, to try to get them to grade it so they can come out and go, oh, they graded this and it was a fake autograph. They got to be aware of that. But again, people are going to take shots at people. That's what they do. They rise and they want to pull them down. I don't want to be part of it. I'm not saying be part of it, but beware of it. Another comment I made the other day, and I think it offended a good friend of mine, and I didn't take it the wrong way. We were talking about HGA. In many comments, somebody went out and graded on HGA Don Mattingly. I think it was her Don Mattingly 84 rookie. Or no, it was the 85 Topps McGuire, and got like a 9.5 on it. And I'll just put it this way. If you get a PSA 9, that's an expensive card, okay? I graded one of mine. I had one that I thought was in great shape because I had it as a kid, kept it in a case, and I graded it. I think it came back a 6 or 7. I said 5 the other day. I think when I looked at it, I think it was a 6 or 7. And I was disappointed because that's like, it's worth raw in my opinion, right? To have a crack, which is ridiculous. It's better. It's worth more crack than it is uncracked as a 7. Anyway, I said to him, well, shoot, I could crack that, send it to HGA. I bet you they're going to grade that probably an 8 or 9 or somewhere in there. And it's right there be worth more money just because there's less of them, right? There's only probably be the only one in the world that's graded HGA at 8 or whatever. And he goes, let's take advantage of the market. And I said, you're absolutely right. You're right. And that is the difference between us as people and corporations. We as people know the difference between right and wrong. And we choose whether or not to take advantage of that opportunity, whether we're going to crack a 7 and try to cross it over to a 9. Don't get me wrong. People are going to be doing that, right? That's what happens. My biggest fear is these Starstock Cs. They're going to buy those Starstock Cs and you're going to see them on eBay raw. And you're going to pay pennies for a Starstock C and you can sell it for dollars on eBay, right? That's happening. You've got to be aware of that. And that last point there was that companies, though, is where I have to draw the line. Companies need to know the difference between doing that. So in closing, if I can help anyone out there with anything you're doing in the hobby, please let me know. Reach out. I will say I get I think a backlog of some Instagram messages. I get a lot of messages as an admin, but reach out. Leave a message here. Hit me on Instagram, TikTok, not Yahoo, Facebook. If I can help in any way, let me know. What I mean by that is I'd love to help other people get their groups going, their channels going. I'm happy to come on, do a guest collaboration. I'm happy to have you on my channel. You want to be on my channel? Go on my channel. In fact, one thing I'm thinking about doing is offering, if any content providers are out there and you're listening and watching this on, if you want to put together a clip and you think it'd be beneficial to come on my channel, use my channel and leave that clip, you're welcome to do that. You can send your video to me. I'll screen it and then upload it. And then I'll preview. I think this might be a cooler way to do kind of cross promo, right? This way you can use my members, which I'll be honest, I don't have a ton, but I feel like I'm growing, right? And they'll see your content and you in your video can direct them to your channel, right? Instead of just coming on my channel and being on my channel video, put together some cool content that you want to share with the audience, something you've heard or inspired, whatever it is, and talk to me about it. That's one way I thought about helping. And like I said, if I can help you, if I can come on your channel, let me know. If you need help talking to people, what I'm excited about, for me and why I do what I do is I love the hobby and I love being connected in the hobby. I like the influence, the people that I know. And what I mean by influence is I don't need 50,000 subscribers and you're not going to see me monetize. I don't need 50,000 subscribers. I want a voice so that if someone says to me, hey, I'm looking for X, I want to be able to say, hey, I know why. I know where you can get it done. I know the Facebook community really well. I know Instagram community fairly well. I'm getting a little better there. TikTok community, very active here on YouTube again. So I want to be able to help bridge that and help people make connections. And I do that with what I refer to as a pristine record. You can look for ZiggyNo on Facebook or groups. I've got lots of vouchers. I've done a lot of business with people. I treat people the way I want to be treated, and then I exceed that expectation. I really do. I try to, I always try to do the best. Most of the deals I close are lower than the value of the card. Because it's not for me about maximizing value. It's not for me getting the card to somebody. I get some money, and I'm able to play with the money, get reinvested in some more cards, and it's a win-win. I'll just close by saying I wish everybody the best. I want everybody to be healthy. I want you to be wealthy as you move into the new year. I'm looking forward to doing more of these lives. I really am so excited to have this. The people that have been here, man. I'm just honored. I see several comments and questions. I'm terrible at reading through this, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and close it out. I'm going to end the stream. I will have content daily, Sports Cards Daily. You will see me live, hopefully back next week. A little more content, a little more. I'll tell you too, I'm even looking for a partner out there. If someone's just partnering on the channel, right? You want to get in sports cards, and you're like, I haven't done this. Hey, I could use help, man. As you can see, I love talking about it, but I don't have all the production. I don't have all the video. I don't make, I don't edit everything. There's a lot of room I could do the growth. I had some plans for this year, and those plans changed. So I'm kind of back to just, stitching things together the way they go. But I'm really loving this. I love sports cards. I love the community. I love the hobby, and I'm going to let you go. Have a great day. Stay healthy, and I'll see you soon. Bye.